Thanks for joining us this morning. So I think we have who we need to get started. So um, we'll give an update on Karura, and we'll let Brian help us with that, and then we'll shift to Tyrone from the Bifrost team and learn more about um, what they're doing and building and an exciting announcement for both our teams. So first off, with Brian, would you mind introducing yourself to the community just for members that haven't heard from you before?
Yep. Hi everyone, this is Brian. I'm also the co-founder and CTO of Akala. Mostly just leading the technical side of the team. Also the Polkadot ambassadors as well as the core contributors to the substrate. Today I'll probably share a bit more about the technical updates, the progress, the plans for next few weeks, as well as some status updates for the Karura network.
Great, excellent. So do you want to give us those high-level technical updates, and then we can dive a little deeper into some of the LKSM status?
Yep. So you probably already see that right now we have a referenda 11 ongoing. So that hopefully will get passed in 5 hours roughly, and get executed probably 2 hours after that. So this is a runtime upgrade, including a bunch of new changes. Some is purely technical side, including upgrading the substrate to the latest version, as well as some make sure the code is ready for some of the new features that we're going to enable soon. So before let me talk too much about those things, let me quickly share some status updates for the Karura network. So we have built a stats dashboard, which you can is showing the TVO and bunch of status about all the DeFi protocols in the network. So that we're still improving on this dashboard. So feel free to make suggestions, feedbacks, and if there's if you find any number doesn't look right, let us know and we will take a look. But you can see the numbers are have been up and down a bit in the last week, which is but overall the numbers still looking good. So hopefully with all the new protocols and new features get enabled in the following week, we'll see the numbers go up even further. So back to the technical side. So in this runtime upgrades, the proposal, Betty wrote a governance post to explain a bit more details about it. But basically, there's a few things that you probably want to know. So firstly, is this allow us to give incentive for the collectors. So currently, we have a few incentive programs for the DEX LP staking. So you can stake your LP and then some incentive rewards. We want to also apply incentive program for other tokens, for example, LKSM. But we need to use a slightly different mechanism. That is so you can, because one of the main purpose of LKSM is that not only just staking, is that you can doing the staking on Kusama, earning Kusama rewards at the same time you can use it to participate in DeFi protocols. So that means we cannot just ask you to stake LKSM and give you rewards in that way, because they're preventing you from using, for example, using cryptos to mint KUSD. So that's why we have adjust the staking incentive mechanisms so that you can use LKSM for cryptos at the same time earning rewards. So you will still be able to use those LKSM to mint KUSD and then using the KUSD to do whatever you like. So this is including in the front upgrade. So and then this will allow us to start the LKSM incentive program. Another update is that this includes the support of the cross-chain transfer between parachains. So this have solved some of the technical issues that we had previously. For example, we need to charge and be able to support using the Bifrost native token BNC as the fee when doing the cross-chain transfer. Because when they cross-chain transfer BNC into Karura, we can only charge the BNC as the fee because there's a BNC transfer. We cannot use other tokens for the fee. So we have solved this issue, and then this will enable the possibility to cross-chain transfer BNC into the Karura. So there's some more minor updates. Probably you can check the release notes for the details. So if you are node operators, there is also a new version release 1.4.1 in the Docker image. So I would recommend you to upgrade this when you have time. It's not top priority, but it does including bunch of bug fixes from the substrate side.
That's helpful. Go ahead.
That's all the technical updates for me.
Yep, thank you so much, Brian. I had just a few questions, and I think some community members may have these questions as well. So when it comes to the APY that we've seen for those minting LKSM? What sort of APY can they expect, when they're staking?
Yeah. So firstly, APY is on Kusama. Currently, you can see the average APY. Actually, let me just see if there's some live number. 16.3%. So if you go to the Kusama and Polkadot apps and go to the staking targets, you can see there's a return 16.3. So let's see the baseline APY. And then depending on the validators and the commission rates and a bunch of other factors, the actual APY might be vary. Just one for reason is being right now we have I think 7 paragens. So each paragen have 5 validators. So only those 30 for every time 35 out of 900 validators, those validators will have extra paragen bonus. So there's a bit of lucky factors there. So if you're lucky, or if the validators will pick a lucky into those paragen validators, they will have higher than average APY for this era. So yeah, so that's why one reason why you see sometimes the reward is high, sometimes the reward is low, but on average in the long term, it should be roughly 16.3% with the current staking rate, return on the Kusama.
That's helpful. And then can you remind the community what our plans are for our validator set and how we're going to go about that?
Yeah, so initially it will be just us picking the validators, but eventually it's up to the LKSM holders to decide which validators to nominate. So this is something we're still in work in progress because we're currently engaging with different validators providers, trying to get them to set up a lot of extra benefits for the Karura nominators. For example, lower the commission rate and provide insurance guarantee slash guarantee. But eventually it's still up to the LKSM holders. So we'll probably start with some option process. So in the probably the governance form or somewhere, have a way for the LKSM holders to vote which validators they would like to nominate. But again, we still need time to finalize this process because we don't yet have a very good tooling to perform option voting. But eventually all this voting will be happens on chain, so people can just lock the LKSM and then to decide which nominators they would like to nominate.
That's helpful. And then when it comes to LKSM collateral ratios, can we expect a similar process like we did when we enabled KSM, where we're going to monitor the network and then we may have Gauntlet or do a review and make sure that those ratios are where we'd like them to be? Is that sort of how the process is going to go for LKSM as collateral?
Yes, it will be the similar process. So we already have some parameter recommendations from Gauntlet. So they are constantly monitor the network. I also already proposed a few parameter updates to us, which have already executed. For example, we have reduced the liquidation risk penalty from the 17%, which is very high, I agree, and reduced to 12%. So they are constantly monitoring the network and proposing parameter change their benefits to the network. They also provide parameter to LKS, and we're going to share but more details about it. I think Betty already wrote a post about it. Let me double check. Yeah, but yeah, we'll also later we'll start referendum proposals that will actually enable this on chain.
Okay, that's excellent. And just as a final thing, I know we don't want to dive too deep into this, but wanted to get your reaction and see why you're excited about our grants recipient that we announced this week. So could you just briefly describe what excites you about Tree and the Nets finance team?
Yeah, so we have been working with Nuts Finance for quite a while already. So they deliver high quality code and also satisfies the Web3 grant milestone as well. So that's very good. And now we have the code merged into the Mandala testnet, which is scheduled to be upgraded probably in a few weeks time, somewhere in this month. And then you can give a try in the testnet. So the first protocol they bring us is the stable asset. So that is one of the very important things that we need. Once we have multiple stable coins, for example, we already have KUSD, and later we'll hopefully be able to allow the Tether USDT to be traded. And then initially we would like to have a pool of KUSD with USDT, but within the current Karura swap AMM models, that is not very capital efficient. So we need a better solution for that. And the Nuts Finance team, the trade protocol, solve exactly this problem. That will allow people to trade between KUSD and USDT or any other stable coins in a very capital efficient manner with very low slippage. That's not only for stable coin, but also for example, different variants of cross-chain bitcoins, cross-chain ethers, or any other. Eventually, also allowed to be able to use this pool while using this protocol to provide a low leverage trade between the the KSM and the LKSM, and eventually the more KSM derivative products.
That's awesome, and that's great to hear. So thank you, Brian, so much for that update. I want to shift to Tyrone, and so we can learn more about what he is building with Bifrost, and then if we have time, we can do some Q&A with the community. But just trying to manage time now and want to make sure we have enough time with Tyrone. So Tyrone, first, before we dig in, would you mind just providing a brief introduction about yourself for the people that don't know you?
Hi, hello guys, nice to meet you. And yeah, today's topic we're gonna talk about the mainly focus on the Bifrost and Akala cooperation to do the initial listing of BNC proposal in Akala community, and Bifrost is also a DeFi protocol to provide for staking liquidity for the community, and it's actually similar as the L dot and L Kusama in Akala, but the achievement mechanism is a little bit different. And for now, we are actually working on the slot auction liquidity protocol, and that which means that if you bound Kusama for the power chain, and you can get derivative, same as L dot, but actually that name is VX Kusama, and you can get VX Kusama as derivative to actually exchange your liquidity in advance. So, and next step, we will have the the proposal for the initially launched the BNC transfer with Akala, and that's what we're going to talk today, right?
Yep, and thank you for the context. So, as Tyrone mentioned, his team is building some derivatives for parachain contributions. So again, helping users access liquidity. And so, with this proposal, Tyrone, to the Karura community for listing the BNC token, it will be the first ever decentralized cross-chain listing. Can you tell us the motivation for this proposal and why you chose Karura?
Yeah, cool. Of course, yeah. All right. So, actually, Bifrost established in 2019, and after 2 years of development, Bifrost parachain actually finally launched Midnight and Kusama in the first batch of the fifth parachain slot, and the transfer of all Midnight token, BNC, will be enabled transfer. So, our team attempts to list the BNC first in a decentralized miner, and hence the listing on decentralized way in Karura swap is actually a creative thing for the blockchain of Polkadot, and that's actually attractive thing to connect with the decentralized spirit of the community, and Karura as the DeFi hub is very suitable for other DeFi protocol to initialize listing on it. So it fits well with Bifrost DeFi protocol, and BNC listing on Karura will also be one of the first of its kind cross-chain listing and application in the Kusama ecosystem.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting for our team. I know it's exciting for your team. So, can you provide some more details on the listing? What is the proposed token pair? Are you going to go through the bootstrap process? Is there any incentive program?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so here we come some details. So the pool will be the QSD and BNC pair. So the motivation for creating this pool is I mentioned about this to initialize the listing of the BNC, and the mechanism for listing new pool is include bootstrap and liquidity mining. So, and the rule of the bootstrap is that no trading allowed during the bootstrap, and it will be only enabled once the following criteria are met. The first one is that it's not exist a block of block number that will be determined by after we and Akala update the new version that Chen actually mentioned about is to add the transferable function of to cost BNC as the apparition fee as the commission. So and the other one is either the pool has 20,000 BNC or 8,000 KUSD in liquidity. So if two of these conditions are met and the pool and the bootstrap will be activated. And about timing, when it will start, it depends on the the QSD and BNC pool will created if the proposal of the community proposal in Karura has passed and the bootstrap will start. So BNC at that time is only cross-channelable at that stage, but it's not transferable yet. And the second step, that BNC proposed a motion to enable the BNC transfer, and which will be enacted in 6 hours before the end of the bootstrap, which means before 6 hours of bootstrap, the BNC transfer will be enabled. And at that time, that maybe some centralized exchange will support it, and you can easily transfer it through Bifrost or Karura. You do whatever cross chain or the transfer in on chain of the power chain. And the third one is the bootstrap will start. Bootstrap will end, and KSD and BNC start trading. So that's the timing, and that's the plan about to when it will be listed. And here we can talk more about the liquidity bootstrap rules. It will start a time in the community proposal. We will show the detail about it. Roughly about 48 hours, and about the bootstrap period. And there is no trading is allowed during this period of those conditions I mentioned about. And you can contribute liquidity for BNC or QSD, or BNC and QSD at the same time. And the actual exchange rate of two tokens can only be known once the bootstrap is completed. And at the same time of your contribution, you can allocate a number of LP tokens and indicative LP shares of the pool, which are subject to change as more liquidity is added. And you should only participate if you want to become a LP for the pool. And maybe there's some risk about the barriers about some various risks about the to being a liquidity provider. And so the incentives part is all about it's about 200,000 BNC rewards in 3 months, and about it's literally about 1.50 BNC per period of, or we can say that's every block, every 5 blocks with 1.5 BNC. So and the loyalty bonus in Karura is 50%, and the program is expected to run for 3 months, and the reward amount expected to be adjusted in monthly basis. So
Okay.
yeah, that's all details. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that information. You covered a lot of ground, so let me just try to summarize for some of our community members just to make sure we're all on the same page. So they will the BNC token will go through a bootstrap period, similar to how many of our other token listings have gone, where there will be a period of time where users can provide liquidity. They can provide either both tokens, both the KUSD and the BNC tokens, or just one side, single-sided liquidity. Once enough time has passed and the conditions are met, then the pool will open for trading and users will get their LP share. So that should all sound familiar to users that have participated in bootstrapping before. And then as part of as an incentive to participate in this pool and provide liquidity, the Bifrost team will be rewarding 200,000 BNC as additional rewards to liquidity providers of this pair, and that 200,000 will be dispersed over a 3-month period. Is that all right, Tyrone?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
indeed right.
Excellent. And so what can users that have the BNC token, what is the BNC token used for?
Right, good question. Right. So actual BNC token is very useful in the Bifrost parachain, right? So for its basic functions, it's the native token functions such as governance and pay the parachain fee. And there's also some utility functions which include liquidity provider to to provide the liquidity of BNC and get the payback maybe also BNC. And the other way is that it's about the relate to the mechanism of Bifrost parachain. And some characters in Bifrost will stimulate the the APY, or we can say the return of being a nominator. And that's the return of main derivative in Bifrost. It's not live yet, but we will announce the detail about it soon. The character in there in that module, there is actually a bidder for the validators. So the bidder will potentially provide high liquidity and higher return for the nominator. So this bidder will provide a part of a collateral, which is BNC, to become a bidder. So it's a very important character in Bifrost parachain. So we'll see. That's also a useful scenario for the BNC. And in the future, the BNC will be pledged for using some projects or blockchain that they want to plug into the SLP protocol if they want to bid for the parachain and they want release the liquidity for users. Some of BNC will be pledged into the Bifrost network, and they will enable to open a proposal for users to vote for them and to open it up. So yeah, that's the utility of BNC.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And obviously this is one of our first collaborations together, but what other future potential collaborations do you see between our two teams?
Okay, that's actually a border scenario or environment for the DeFi. For now, we are just some integration about the basic function of parachain, XCMP, X token, and we are talking with the asset module to add the KUSD and KR, BNC, and Kusama between us. And the future is not easy like this. It's going to be the protocol interaction between each of us. For example, Bifrost is the protocol to provide liquidity derivative to the network. So the derivative has its application scenario, such as you can put into the Karura and do the collateral and loan of some new KUSD for the derivative, and what you can get is the cash flow, right? And the cash flow can be to derive to get the derivative again and follow this routine to collateralize a KUSD and get cash flow again and do it again. So that's the a leverage for the staking. Actually, you can get maximally about 3.5 times for your current position. So yeah, that's very exciting thing on DeFi, and there will be indeed there will be more using scenario for each of us product, and the Karura staking as relative L dot and Alpsam are well official online, and it will also be a big scenario connect with other power chains, and we can do some compound product and compound scenario for both of us, and it's very exciting to see the transferable of different assets between power chains.
That's awesome. So Tyrone, thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to open it up to some community member questions for either Brian or Tyrone. So if you have a question, please raise your hand and I can let you on the stage.
Hi, okay. So let's say we mint KSD with LKSM. Since it's not possible to redeem LKSM and there are no liquidity pools, how do liquidators use the LKSM they get when someone is liquidated?
Well, so you right now you cannot redeem LKSM to KSM back, but still when liquidation happens, now we have two liquidation mechanism. One's using the DEX, so that won't be enabled until we have a trading pair available. So, but then we still have the auction mechanism. So when the liquidation happens, and then some people might be willing to pay KUSD to buy LKSM with a discount price, and then that will still ensures the make sure there are no debits to the protocol.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for the question. Did you want to ask anything else?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Great. Again, if anyone else has a question, please raise your hand.
I can see someone asked a question in the community chat. So are we getting KR BNC as incentive for the BNC KUSD pool? So actually, again, this probably a bit more on the technical side as well. So right now, the incentive program is designed that supporting KR as the incentive reward. So we are actually working in progress, finalizing some details to support multiple tokens as rewards. So that would actually enable the BNC incentive program. So before that, and then we could potentially doing the ritual drop as we did before, until the incentive code is ready. And then the Akala Foundation or Karura Foundation will also considering adding a bit more KR as an incentive program into this as well. The numbers we're still finalizing a number, but those will allow some extra incentive rewards on top of the BNC rewards. And you do get the KUSD surplus share on this pool. So for all the pools that contains KUSD, you will have the KUSD surplus share.
Great, Brian. That's helpful. So a lot to be excited about. Yaba, did you have a question you wanted to ask Brian or Tyrone?
Hey, yes. How's it going? Thanks. First off, I want to say thank you guys. I'm really excited. It's a lot of hard work. I know you guys are working really hard, and just appreciate it. I just wanted to follow up on the last question that was asked. And I might have missed it, and I apologize. But is there a time frame we're looking at to have LKSM fully active and integrated, or what? We're still working.
Yes. So we're probably going to enable LKSM as scriptors. The proposal will probably coming up actually today, and then maybe have allowed it enabled tomorrow. And then the next phase will be again enable. We're currently considering enable the LKSM to KSM and trading pair. And then again, we also have some incentive programs for KR for that as well. We're still again finalizing some numbers. So this is the next stage. This also allow the protocols to using this trading pool as a liquidation path. So if you're able to, when the liquidation happens, is able to sell the LKSM to KSM and then sell the KSM to the KUSD. This also allow, while we don't have the redeem feature for the LKSM, this will also allow people to sell the LKSM to KSM to X the position. And then the next phase is, just to allow actually enable the actual redeem feature. So this is still work in progress. So all the question stuff is complicated, especially when the protocol Okusama is still constantly upgrading. For example, with the current XCM code we're working, the supposed cross-chain transfer is using XCM v0, and the next version is v1 is something we are integrating with, and then the v2 is already out in the code. So there's a lot of updates we need to do. And so yeah, that's the reason why the redeem feature is taking a bit more time than we initially anticipated. But hopefully it will come out in the next few weeks to support redeem feature. And then following that, we also have a lot more others, like for example, to actually allow you to vote which validators to nominate using your LKSM.
Okay, perfect. I had a follow-up question. You mentioned providing a bootstrapping. I'm sorry, you mentioned providing a trading pair, KSM to LKSM. Will we be able to provide LKSM or one side of that, like in a bootstrapping phase, or is that something that's still to be thought out?
Yeah, so during the bootstrapping phase, you can provide one pair of the asset, single side. So, but just to remember that doing that is effectively doing a market sale of the assets. So, because well, we have a good idea of the conversion ratio between KSM and LKSM, but they should be roughly the same price. So, if you really need to check the size of the both assets inside the pool to make sure you don't have a loss. Otherwise, for example, if you're selling LKSM with too cheap, well, then you may have loss. Otherwise, that's the same. So, yeah, so I highly recommend you monitor the pool's position before you're making a decision to add only a single side or both sides. For example, if someone add a ton of KSM with no LKSM, then it's a good idea to only add LKSM. But yeah, so it's really depending on the exact situations.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Thank you, Yava, for your question. Looks like, Tyrone, we have a question in the chat. Could you just remind us what the timeline is for when bootstrapping will likely open for this BNC pool?
Okay, it's about the day before 15th of this month, but it's not a accurate time. It depends on the docking thing and the upgrade time on Bifrost and Akala both sides.
Okay, great, that's helpful. Any other questions from the community? Let me see. Ciala, did you have another question?
Yeah, sorry, follow-up question. It will be also the LKSM and AUSD liquidity pool implemented, since, I mean, in order to monitor the collateral LKSM posted, so the implicit price will be the price to sell LKSM to KSM and then KSM to AUSD, since there is no direct LKSM to AUSD price, to KUSD, sorry.
Yeah, so all the internal logics of the code as well as the front end supports trading across multiple pools. So with if we have LKSM to KSM trading pair and we have a KSM to KUSD trading pair, then people will be able to buy or sell LKSM to KUSD directly in the UI. Also as the liquidation logic will also be able to use multiple pools for the liquidation process. So we're currently considering not enabling LKSM to KUSD pool just because we don't feel that is necessary.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Great, thank you, Ciala. I think we have time for about one more question. So if anyone wants to ask a final question, please feel free. Going once, twice. We'll see. Looks like one community member is typing in the chat, so we'll see if that's anything. Brian, is the current proposal in Polkadot JS governance the proposal 13?
So actually, the setting is enable LKSM as current total mean KUSD, so that is not the current proposal. The current proposal one is the 14 that to the run upgrade, and then we will actually make another proposal to enable LKSM as current.
Okay, great, thank you. Awesome. So it looks like we've answered everyone's questions, and we've covered a great deal today and made a few exciting announcements. So thank you so much, Brian and Tyrone, for your time. Tyrone, thank you for sharing this exciting listing with us and the liquidity mining announcement and just educating our community a little more on Bifrost. So thank you for taking the time with us today, and hope to have you on again soon for another exciting announcement in the future between Karura and Bifrost. Brian, as always, thank you for your hard work and updating the community on some of our exciting upgrades to the network.
Thank you, guys. Cheers. And the actually, I want to mention about the proposal detail will be updated to Karura community at this actually about it's as today, but it will be maybe midnight in the US time. So yeah, just take a look and watch the community proposal in Karura. Cheers, guys.
Okay, thank you. So, community members, we can look for that proposal on our discourse site where we've been, posting other proposals. So be on the lookout for that proposal update from the Bifrost team with, some greater detail on the listing, bootstrapping, incentive program, et cetera. So thanks again for joining our community call this week. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. So cheers, everyone. Thanks for supporting us.